He wasn't on the line anymore, and he was just upset.
Shout out to Rams getting 2-2.
So we're both in Melbourne at the same time.
Just go.
I'm gonna DJ.
Not really out of me call side tickets.
Wow.
See the game.
It was pretty much everything we saw. What happened?
What's good, man? We'll have to be there. He's like, you have to be here in a week. There's a cutoff. We'll be like an after go for it.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Reupload episode 35. This is season 4 now, and we've got a bit of a little setup. We're still gonna be in the office. You can see we got the little signage at the back. Ray's Entertainment, the Reupload podcast. Me, Big Sam Frazer on the mic. We got my little bro. He's back on. It's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a year.
Close to a year.
It's been a year. So.
Oh no, it's been about 6 months actually.
6 months, yeah, because you were on it when we were in Europe.
After
Europe. So that would have been, I'm gonna say August, middle of August.
Probably closer to July.
No, it was August because I was after. Because I got back in August.
Oh,
we got back in August, start of August.
August.
I'm gonna say middle of August, and we thought because so there's a bit of a new setup, and we've invested a bit more money into the equipment, and hopefully the audio continues to improve, and guests will continue to improve, but it's a bit of a switch up now. We're not really going to be talking about the general topics like we have been in the past about I don't know what we talked about. It's partying and what else?
Just traveling
Like that was also come up, but exactly. But that will all come up. But now it's all going to be more towards some motivational things. And what we're going to do each episode is we're going to talk about a topic on the podcast, and then with that guest we'll talk about their involvement on that topic, their way they've achieved that topic, possibly on the way that that topics has affected them, and who else to do better than start the new format than to do it with my younger brother. So real quick, let's quickly go into what's been going on the last 6 months. Like, talk about going to work, going to life, going to relationships, if that's what you're getting into. Just give a quick this is pretty unscripted as well, but guys,
very unscripted. Just been working pretty much every day,
grinding stuff, eh?
As a finance broker. What else have I been doing? Pretty much just work. Went on a cruise over the Christmas break.
Oh, that was classy. Yeah, we went to Vanuatu, Noumea.
Going to Fiji this weekend or tomorrow.
Yep.
For a week.
Staying strong, mate, with the missus.
Yeah, with Sophie, we're going away for a week. Which will be nice.
Nice.
That's really about it. Just been working and
Class, mate. Class.
Not much traveling, as I'd like to, but
we'll come.
Just been working and
So what's
going at it.
What's something you've, especially over the last couple months when we've had a lot of reset and a lot of break, what's something you've seen and looked at from going, having a big year on the work, but then also having your months off? How have you, especially going away, how have you thought about resetting? Like, what's your biggest way to tell someone how to reset?
Well, you definitely need to have, over Christmas, I think definitely everyone should have a couple weeks off, just so you can really relax, enjoy the summer or winter if you're in a different country. Obviously, it's good to reset so you can come back working a lot harder than you did before. Because if you just keep going at it without having a break and you don't give your brain time to reset or your body time to reset, you're just going to crash and eventually not going to do anything. You're going to get sick, you get worn out, you might end up hating your job.
For sure.
So I think definitely having some time off over a certain amount of, a certain break, depending if it's whatever holiday it is, going away overseas, or just chilling at your house in bed all day.
For sure.
It's a great thing to do for your body, just to really dial back in when you come back to it and after however long your break is. So I think, everyone should have a break over a certain amount, over a certain time. For sure. Because the ones that don't have a break, they're the ones that are probably going to die out. Yeah, for sure. Get sick of it.
No, you're right.
And just, be tired, pretty much, to say the least.
So one thing that, as I said, we're going to do the topic. So today's topic is mainly about, we're going to be talking about motivation. So, and how we've been motivated to overcome challenges and failures. Because, if you guys may have had a lot of failures in my life, with especially if I'm just going on top of my head with sport, for example, I've had injury after injury and injury. And then this year, then the end of last year, I made, you know, that rep team that I've been trying to make for basketball, and then
Yeah.
yourself, well, going from where was he? Went from, you know, he was a uni dropout.
Yeah, went
Didn't-
from high school to uni,
Yeah,
straight
didn't
into
do
full-time work.
didn't great, and then he's killing it. He just, you know, he's buying stuff he's wanted to buy his whole life. He's, you know, looking at investments and looking at, you know, properties and so and so. And the kid's 2 years younger than me. The kid hasn't even turned 20 yet. He's still a teenager. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's like, I thought he would be the right person to talk about this, you know, this topic.
Thank
And
you.
you know, we're still gonna have moments of when we'll go into, like, you know, the 10 will probably still be talked about in some sort. We'll probably have a bit of a joke later on, but you can even hear my voice that the tone of the podcast is going to be more serious. And because I don't know, I really did enjoy those, you know, those podcasts when we spoke about you know, fun and partying and all that. And
Our
there will
last
be
podcast video was a lot more traveling
Exactly.
podcast we
More-
spoke about.
more casual, and those
Yeah.
will come up every once in a while, like when we have certain guests on. But especially when I had Alex Kaplis on, and then I had Andre Dill on, we spoke about these more serious topics of with mental health and, you know,
Yeah.
and growing through fitness and lifestyle. And yeah, it's something I rather talked about, because like you look at big podcasts like Turn Up the Talk with Pat Clifton, who was been on it, who came on this about 6-7 months ago, and just hearing his story and about how he's, you know, he's helped people through his voice. And, you know, I've always tried to help people through mine and try to inspire people. And I think this is the next step, is to use my platform to, and I, you know, it's not a big platform, but if I can get out, have a couple clips on TikTok, and you know,
Definitely.
people see that, you know, this is what I'm about, you know, that's, you're halfway there, in my opinion.
Sure.
So, back with that, let's about you, big man. So, you know, let's talk motivation. So, what's something, especially going from, let's do a little 22. This is a bit of a recap video as well. We'll go if we're gonna go into like our 2022. So, going
Yeah.
from, you know, graduating high school, and then realistically not knowing what you really wanted to do till then, you know, going to uni and deciding that's not for you, and now working full time. What's a big, like, you had to take a big risk. Like, what's something you look back now and you're like, you know, thank God that paid off.
Most people when they graduate, they'll either you always like lean, you always taught like you would do a trade or you'll go to university. There's like no really middle.
For sure.
Like you look at a lot of boys do real estate, but it's a very small amount compared to the amount of boys that are gonna, or girls that are going to university, or maybe doing a gap year, or going into a trade, which a lot of boys also do, and girls as well. Or just did a degree at TAFE. So obviously a lot of people want to be able to like party and have fun and just not have any responsibilities when they graduate school for that 4 years, which is obviously a huge factor into why people go to university. Obviously you're getting a degree, but you also have that freedom of 4 years to go party, go do a gap year if you want to study abroad,
For sure.
things like that. So like obviously when I first started thinking about leaving university to work full time, first thing I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life.
Who knows
I've
at that
always
age?
been around finance, but I had no idea if I'd like it or if I'd see myself doing this. And then obviously I was like, I'm going to have to work 9 to 5 or whatever hours it is, Monday through Friday, even potentially weekends working. So big risk was obviously knowing I'd lose. I obviously have a lot of freedom, but I'm losing a bit of that freedom of like, you guys going out tonight? Oh, I got work in the morning. So
Yeah, for sure.
that was a huge risk I took. Obviously, you know, like not being as close with your mates
Of course.
because you're working for all the time. But that was definitely one of the biggest risks I took, and especially jumping into a job I really didn't have a big idea about, or I didn't know much about. It was a big risk, but yeah, so I'd say it's probably been the best risk I've ever taken in that sense. Also though, because now I'm at the point where I'll go out if I want to go out at night time. I'll go out, you know, go to the pub, go to a bar, go to a club, whatever. I'll go for dinner. I can do that and then go to work the next morning, or start work a little bit later and go from there. I've learnt a lot in the last year to 18 months about what the job is about and what you do in the job, and managing, like talking to clients. Because also like you're providing a service at the end of the day, so it's start
sure.
till finish, and then even when it finishes, like once you get someone like they're alone, you still have to like check in with them every few months to see how they're going. But I've learned a lot of things, like even just like being able to speak, like public speaking type of thing, like being in meetings. I've learned how to speak much better. better type of terminology to use. So things like that, I definitely think have
Yeah.
been a big change in my life over the last 18 months to a year. So.
Yeah, for sure. And what about going more into growth? What's the biggest way you felt like you've grown?
Oh, maturity.
Yeah.
Obviously, going out from high school, you're very immature.
Most
'cause
definitely.
you're around people that are your age all the time, and like you act like dickheads maybe. So obviously working full time, it's made me mature a lot because I'm working around older people. My clients are all, a lot older than me. So I've definitely matured a lot because, you have to mature when you start. You can't be the same
Sure.
kid you were in high school because no one's going to want to talk to that person. Like, what an idiot. Like,
Absolutely.
you get fired from a job or, like, you might not get any clients or, like, any work from it. So definitely maturity levels have, gone up a lot since I've left school compared to where I am now. Which obviously you've probably noticed, but yeah, definitely
For sure.
maturity is the biggest way of the biggest growth I've had, and I'm sure anyone that's in the same position as me, no matter what they're doing, like trade or real estate or finance or even at uni, some people,
Yeah, for sure.
growth. The biggest part of growth is definitely maturing.
Yeah. No, you get on better
Like
now.
you got to know when to like put your head down and work, and then when you can go and have fun or like have a laugh or like just how to speak with people.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's all about you have to believe in that grind firstly, and then
For sure.
shout out for Flex the Tattoo real quick. You know what I mean? And then secondly, yeah, it's all about, especially now, like looking at you, and you get on better with people my age.
Yeah, quite a few of my friends are
Older than
probably
me.
22, 23, 24.
Yeah, older than me.
So like a lot of the people I surround myself with are obviously a lot older than me, and like they don't look at me like, oh, I'm hanging out with a 9-10-year-old and I'm 24.
No, they don't.
They're like, you look at someone as the way they are mature, their maturity levels.
We can look
So
back.
obviously, yeah, since I've like 2 years ago, even like 18 months ago, I would never be able to hang out with an older boy. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, what the hell?
Now you more time hanging out with
Now,
older
like,
people than.
now I'm hanging out with much older people because that's like our maturity levels are very like balanced, so
Yeah.
equal.
Yeah, you've grown up fast. Yeah,
So yeah,
fast.
definitely in the last 18 months I've matured a lot. So in
Yeah.
my opinion,
No, I feel that. And yeah, with maturity and stuff, what's when going into like, let's say, big meetings and being anxious about certain things, what do you have in the back of your head that keeps you wanting to be there and feel like you're not out of place?
just looking at the end result of it realistically.
Yeah.
Saying like what could come out of this meeting, like, even if nothing comes out of it, like you have nothing to lose at the end of the day. So I mean, everyone gets anxiety and everyone gets nervous before a meeting, but that's normal. If you're not nervous or you don't feel a bit anxious, like you probably don't care, and you probably should look at doing a different job where you're gonna actually care about.
For sure.
Because no one has that type of confidence unless you've been in the job for 20 years. But even some people that have been in the job forever, no matter what industry you're in, would be nervous going into a meeting.
Sorry guys, that's the dog. She's going crazy. Continue, big dog.
So yeah, I think just looking at the end result of what potentially could come out of meeting with new people.
Well, okay. What about let's quickly go into this is an annoying one that everyone hears, but it's a good little question. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What motivates you to wake up and be like, you know what, I want to do this,
a few things, obviously.
and then I'll go into why I'm the same.
Potentially money, obviously, because
For
you're
sure.
not going to get out of bed for free, because then you're getting out of bed for no purpose. No matter what people say, everyone gets out of bed for money, which is like, if you say if you like don't agree with that, you're full of shit.
For sure. 100%.
That's the truth. I work with a good team. Sharon, my dad, Brad, Yeston, our new broker. We have a good little team we work around, and you as well, of course, when you show up. But we have a good little team there. We all get along very well. We'll tell each other, like, we'll help each other out when we need to, and we'll give respect and respect when it's due.
Absolutely.
And congratulate each other. But it's good having a team because we can work amongst each other.
For sure.
And also getting to help people. Everyone's dream in their life is to buy a house or buy an apartment, just get property. So I'd say just being able to help someone achieve that is another reason I get out of bed. Because at the end of the day, they'll go home tonight if they get finance approved, or in a few weeks' time, whenever they might, that's one stress less they have to worry about, having to worry about their money. So
For sure.
definitely that as well would be a huge impact on me getting out of bed in the morning, being able to help someone out.
Okay, for me, this is something that some people might have picked up on, and my close friends know this. That I've really especially over. I've had, it's been not best start of the year. No, I wouldn't say it's been a bad start of the year, but it's been a lot of, for me, it's been a lot of thinking and a lot of, believing. And, yeah, I had this little abbreviation that Will's got tattooed on him, and we're going to get tattooed together, and I'm going to get it tattooed on my body very, very soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And that's believing in the grind, and that's what gets me up, to believe in the grind and keep grinding, that's with everything. Like, my loves of basketball and of creating content and of, of being a good friend and a good person
For
to,
sure.
my family and my communities, is, it's all about, going at it and giving 100% and
Yeah, definitely.
doing, working the silent hours, because like the time, I might be out at night, I'll be at the casino, I'll be out at the pub or the club or whatever I'm doing, but that's just what you might see. It's what you don't see. That's
Yeah.
what really gets me out of, because I know I can be the best. Like I've, some of you will know, and I've mentioned this a lot, that I lost 15 kilos last year. 15 kilos, closer to 16, probably about 16 kilos in a year, and most of that was within a 2 to 3 month period, and
Yeah.
that was all just believing in that fucking grind.
Yeah,
And
no, that's why I like my tattoos, obviously, because they're like little mottos. Even like
course.
I got 3, they all mean a lot to me.
they do, and
These, yeah, they was there forever, but yeah, this is something that's just, I mean, it's not like it's stupid, like drawing or something.
No.
It's
no,
it's got a lot of meaning.
it is, and
That tattoos can hold a lot of meaning, and like, yes, you might that tattoo when you get it, it might only have one meaning to, but down the track you might be like, oh, there's 20
sure.
other reasons, but this has meanings to me.
and it took
Okay, yeah, I still look at mine. I'm like, oh, that's a good meaning. Like, I have my obviously the
remember
meaning I
when you
always
got
got,
it.
but like I have the meaning, the memory, but I also like something will happen. I'm like, but they also have other meanings to me as well. So
Of course. Yeah, no, and it's something like I was big in tattoos. Like Will and I did speak when I was at schoolies, which is, oh my god,
Couple years ago. yeah,
a year ago, just over, no, about a year ago, just over a year ago.
ago.
So, and schoolies is something that I feel like Will learn a lot about himself, to be honest. And we were always going to be like, yeah, we're going to get this matching tattoo, we get this matching tattoo. And this was about a year ago when I didn't. BITG was just something that I just. It was just another abbreviation. I
Yeah,
just
for
thought it.
sure.
I came up with it. I was like, yeah. But now after this year and about, I've done a lot of that, and and I said I had the start of this year, I had a couple of things that really upset me, and but I've just got to believe in the grind, because it will work out.
So you look at the end result.
Absolutely, and now I decided within the last couple of weeks I'm gonna get this tattoo, and you have Australia Day, and you have like another couple of things that come up when you're in the water all day, and it's not the smartest decision. So, but within the next couple of weeks, I'm definitely gonna get it, and I'm gonna look at it and be like, you know what, if I'm not having the best day and I'm having a shit day, I remember I've got to believe in the grind, and I've got to go and do my work
For
and
sure.
get it done. And I'm doing stuff that doesn't get me paid at the moment. This probably doesn't get me paid at the moment. I'm playing basketball for some. I'm playing for a rep team, but like, it's not. I'm not playing professional. Will I ever play professional? Most likely not. But it's just the grind of it. I just love the grind. I really do. I love the work and I love the grind. But
For sure.
it's something I've had a lot of realization, especially over the last. I'm gonna say the last 5 months, even especially the start of 2023. That's my biggest, my big touchstone of this year so far is growth, because I've grown a lot, but how can I grow more?
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
For sure. So, let me just check the timer real quick. Okay, 10 minutes. We're gonna get another camera set up as well within the next couple, because we're trying to get these really professional, and you're gonna have a lot more. Will's gonna pop up every couple episodes possibly, and we're just gonna talk about how we've grown and that type of things. And as I said, this is gonna be a lot of topic based, but getting back into it. One thing that I did want to go into. So when you have struck fail, and we can go into some failures and get more personal. You don't have to. Up to you. Let's. I'm just talking. We can go within the last 6 to 12 months. How's give me a failure, give me something that hasn't worked out, and now you look back and you're like, you know what, I've changed and I became a better person from that thing. And what have you done to complete it, get that job done?
I mean, I'd say probably just like losing some clients, I guess. Obviously, I've had some clients and then they've gone elsewhere.
For sure.
Maybe direct to a bank or whatever. And then I guess the way I've overcome that is just really. I mean, there's no way to really overcome losing clients. Like at the end of the day, people will do what they want to do. So
Absolutely.
I guess just as long as I know I've done my best and I've shaded them as best I can in the in their best, and I've always looked at everything in their best interest.
For sure.
I mean, that's really all you can do at the end of the day. So
Absolutely.
I'd say that's probably an okay example.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, probably just like that.
hmm My biggest thing at the moment that, was, well, I'll name a couple. So we'll start with basketball, especially. So as some of you know, that's my only love at the moment, apart from family, obviously, and friends. And, life's fucking amazing. But, yeah, so I didn't make a team, and, I haven't made a team, and I didn't make another team, and, it got me going. And then I went into these trials and playing for St. George basketball, and they I don't know, the coach saw something in me, but
I guess from like the year before
Year
compared
before,
to now, you've gone
I've
to the gym
grown.
every day.
Absolutely.
You've got taller. You've lost weight. You've
Absolutely.
You've gone from like such like a nation on the
absolutely
court, realistically.
from failure, and the biggest way
going to losing weight, being able to be fast on the court, being able to be quick on the court, quick and fast on the court.
Absolutely.
So, being
Absolutely.
able to shoot a basketball, play defense. So
Absolutely, like I've grown as
getting into a basketball court and playing every day is like the best way to overcome the failure.
Absolutely, it's all about, for me, the biggest failure, especially with that, was obviously, with failing it comes, but I stuck to what I believe in, and that's just with the grind, and it came, and that's just one thing, and with relationships and stuff,
that's what like a lot of people say, that like the most successful people are the ones that failed the
You
most.
have to,
Like you don't know what success, you can't know what success is like until you failed.
Absolutely, and I failed a lot of my life, and
Because the ones that go straight into success and they fail, they're the ones that don't know how to get back to where they were because they've never felt it. So you have to fail a lot before you can
absolutely
have the end result of what your goal is.
And I'm just thinking, like, recently, especially one that's really, like, I was, some of you might know, I've been trying to get into exchange and go overseas to study for a semester. And, I didn't get in. My marks weren't good enough. I'll be honest. My marks weren't good enough. And, I thought I would. And, the communication from, both ends of me and the university went great. And, that is what it is. But I didn't get in. But that's not the end of it. I've looked at...
there's always ways to overcome.
Absolutely, and I've looked at, I've organised meetings, and I have meetings coming up next week, and trying to communicate and try to get another way. But if that doesn't work out, that doesn't work out. You know what I mean? And it just is what it is. But now I have that time, and I have a thought process, and where I can go, and what am I going to do next? Because I want to go. I want to go and experience that life, because I love the life in Australia, but who doesn't? But to go and study overseas, and
I completely get what you're saying.
To experience, that's just gonna be different.
It's a whole different life over there.
100%.
I mean, I remember when I did my exchange. It's a whole different life.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of like obstacles that you have to face.
A lot of obstacles.
From before you even get over there to while you're over there to getting home. There's a lot of obstacles that you face, but it's it taught me many life lessons.
It is, and
it makes you who you are.
Exactly, and you look back at that, and you're like, what, I can point out A, B, C, and D of why I was a shit person, why I was a good person, and
what you did right and wrong.
Absolutely, and that's just with life at the end of the day, and that's really what I want. If anybody takes anything from these newer format episodes, is that we'll have our laughs, we'll have that and that, we'll have this and that, but at the end of the day, these are all, I want to motivate people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I want to look back at this, and I want to be like, I want to motivate us, because it's just it's at the end of the day, it's all about growth, and that's what everybody really should. I don't know, there's something about this year. I was listening to who was it, the Full Send podcast, and there's a lot of they're idiots, and they do a lot of drinking and all that, but they're very fitness and mental health based, if you really listen to their stuff, and they're all about having a wealthy mind, and being a good person at the end of the day. And they said the same thing, something about 2023. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. And 2022 is a shitty age for me. It's like I'm starting to think about stuff, but
well, I mean, I guess
it's
the
I don't
last
know.
3 to 4 years, like the last 3 years, really is like
We've wasted 2 of
had
them.
COVID for 2 years. You're finally getting everything back to normal.
Even so,
People are starting to feel safe to travel, and now it's like we're going into 2020. Like that was 2022. Everyone was like getting back
Back
taste
into
of
the
that.
flow,
Now
yeah,
2023
for sure.
is like everyone's going to really put their head down and try to get into work so they can go on those holidays or vacations. They can have these good things out of it. So people are going to be I think a lot of people are really trying to make this their most successful year
You
of
should.
their life of 2023, and you hear so many people on the internet talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
you've got to be the best person you can be in this year, I'd say.
now let's talk what you want to achieve this year. So tell me, like, not even this year. Let's go just into this, this first couple quarters of the year.
Yeah.
What's give me some attainable and some stuff you want to do and some achievable things, but also give me something that you want to improve with yourself.
Proving myself.
So give me a couple things. Maybe let's say give me 5 things if you can name 5 things, and then give me a couple.
I mean, honestly, the first thing for everyone should be to be the best person you can.
Absolutely.
For sure, definitely.
And how will you achieve that?
I mean, just respecting people,
Sure.
working hard.
For sure.
I mean, everyone's going to have a different way of how they can be the best person they can be. But yeah, for me, probably just working as hard as I can and continuing to maintain friendships and relationships.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Okay.
Just being respectful. People.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, now tell me some more things you want to achieve this year.
Obviously, maybe travel for a go away for maybe a couple of weeks, a few weeks at some stage this year, just a bit of travelling.
You already are you already on
Next
it
week,
tomorrow,
tomorrow,
mate.
for sure. But I'd love to travel again later on in the year.
For sure.
One of the big things that I've wanted to do this year is potentially get an investment property.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the moment, but I haven't found anything that I like, really. There's not much, it's either very expensive or it's just really not good quality.
For sure.
I was talking to a real estate agent the other week, and he was telling me how, because rates, obviously, I work with rates all day.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about rates, and he was like, yeah, well, the reason, so many people ask, a lot of the properties that are for sale that are, on the lower end, not lower end, but just, units, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms aren't, good properties, is because the people that have good investments are going to keep those, and because rates are going up, they're going to sell their shittier investments. So
For sure.
I'm also looking to buy an investment property at some stage this year, hopefully. If not, I'll probably go in a couple of years.
No rush.
Um,
Interest rates suck, but.
to build a nice client base for myself this year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, show Mum that I can potentially take over the business one day.
Mm-hmm.
She looks to slow down and retire, hopefully, soon.
Mm-hmm.
To make more money than I did last year, I guess. Hopefully,
sure.
maybe double what I made last year would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's all of those things, though, they add up to being the best person you can be, really. So
For sure.
it goes back to my first one, being the best person I can be. They all, in some way, mean that.
Working together, for sure.
they add up together.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
For me, my big one. I think I've mentioned this to some people, and this is just I'm just thinking, in the next couple months. So obviously, I'm really, as some of you know, and some of you would have seen, I did Project 50, and Project 50 is how I lost all this weight and how I started feeling, fit and feeling good again in my life, and with good physical health brings good mental health, in my opinion. And I'm gonna do Hard 75, and I've been doing this ab challenge. I'm trying to get some abs. That'd be lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to, but definitely have a couple things coming up the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Adding to that, another thing I'd love to do this year, sorry for interrupting you, is try to get a very consistent gym routine.
You need to get back into it because you could have really good genetics.
2 years ago, I was actually in good shape.
It was very good shape.
And then I just obviously been doing other things and that hasn't been my main focus. But definitely this year, I'd love to get back into the gym. Try to go 4 or 5 times a week by the end of the year. Doing cardio, and then obviously doing things to get bigger muscles, doing those sort of exercises. But yeah, definitely improve my cardio and put some muscle on. Definitely. So I'd love to get back into a consistent gym routine. I was doing it a couple of years ago. I was going 3, 4, some weeks 5 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gone probably to the gym properly in over a year, 2 years, closer to 2 years.
Yeah, it's been about that.
Probably a year and a half, probably, yeah. So I'd love to, by the end of this year, be going to the gym consistently about 4 to 5 times a week, just doing cardio, just all types of stuff you do at the gym.
For sure.
So.
And why is that?
I mean, being healthy and feeling healthy and having a good body it's the first step to Self confidence.
For sure, I
So
agree,
I think
100%.
if you're people that are happy with their bodies, happy with the way they look, you may work harder in your job.
One thing you got to promise me.
You'll have a lot of you can have better confidence.
For
when
sure.
you're talking to people,
Most definitely.
and just self confidence as well is a huge fact, like self esteem.
Yeah, most definitely. One thing I need you to promise me, when and if you get into this fitness, you got to change your diet.
Yeah. Well, I've put on. I mean, when we got off the cruise, I was probably 67 kilograms. I don't know what that is in pounds. That week I just really ate a lot of food.
It's 170 something.
Yeah, so that week I just ate a lot of food, and I probably put on 3 kilograms. So before I get into the gym, I'd probably want to bulk up a little bit, so then I can turn that fat into muscle.
To be fair, yeah, you bulk. I think
there's no point in going to the gym if you're skinny, because you're not gonna overly skinny. If you're very skinny,
Yeah.
Tony, you're not gonna put on any muscle.
for sure.
Because there's no muscle to be made, because obviously muscle is made from fat.
Of
So
course. So
I'd love to put on probably get up to 74 kilograms.
yeah, I was gonna say about 75.
By June, I'd love to get 74, 75 kgs. Even 73, I'd be happy with.
Yeah.
Because I'm
70.
about 5'11", about that.
Yeah,
5'11", 6 foot. So I'd love to put on maybe 4 or 5 kilograms,
for sure.
and then turn that into muscle, abs.
For sure.
So I'd say that's probably
You can do it.
another thing I'd love to do this year as well, on top of the other
course.
things I had said before.
Yeah, for sure. And what I was trying to say before, well, so as you said, I done Project 50 and I lost a lot of weight from that, and that's when I started feeling good, and I didn't enjoy getting a burger or something from the I don't want to go to McDonald's or something. I rather, if we're gonna go for a feed, for example.
I mean, I think if you want to do a cheat meal, there's
Obviously,
nothing wrong
for
with that.
sure, and I have
maybe once a week, man, it's every 2 weeks.
for sure, and that's
It's all
what
about proportion, right?
absolutely, and that's what I have done, and I'm gonna. The thing is, my biggest thing, which I've done these cheat meals, and I just feel like I do a cheat meal, I feel worse. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Your
My
stomach
thing,
feels like shit.
it feels
right?
like shit. You feel bad because you're not used to eating that food. You know?
Even I'll eat a lot of junk food, and I'll eat McDonald's, for example, KFC maybe. Even my stomach hurts a lot after.
For sure.
So I mean, no matter who you are, no matter if you
Absolutely.
eat healthy for a whole year or you eat shit all year, you're gonna feel like crap after.
Absolutely. So one big goal I wanted to comply. I did have talks to my friends and family about what this fitness, what this lifestyle is going to be like, and to be honest, I think I'm going to probably cut out cheat meals completely, unless obviously if is there's
Maybe
circumstances,
vacation holidays.
very occasional circumstances, stuff comes up if you go for a certain dinner with people or so and so, but I'm not going to go, and if I'm out, I'm going to try and cut down on eating out. I think is a big thing.
Also, look at it, a cheat meal, look how much money you'd spend on having
Absolutely.
a cheat meal a year. You'd
Absolutely.
spend thousands of dollars just eating that type of
Mate,
stuff.
if we looked into it,
You could go and get a nice steak every couple of weeks.
exactly.
Go out for a nice dinner, and that would be the same price over time as going to
Absolutely.
McDonald's.
Absolutely. So that's one big thing that, health and fitness wise, I'm definitely going to continue, and I'm just going to continue to have a strong mind. I think everybody needs to do that. And what I was trying to say before is I'm just doing this ab challenge, and I'm just trying to give myself challenges because I know I can do them. So I'm just that's going for the next month, and then
For sure.
my friend's birthday, former 2 times. How many times has he been on the podcast?
Joe?
Yeah, has he only been on once?
I think he's only been in one.
He's only been one, so he's about to come on soon, and it's going to be a very different conversation with him and
He's
Dirk.
very gym orientated. He
He's
loves going to the
very-
gym. He's got a gym in his garage.
He
So
is. He's very.
he's in it every day.
So his birthday's coming up, and after his birthday, I think I'm going to start Hard 75. And if you guys don't remember, me and Mr. Alex Kapos, we spoke a lot into that and about what Hard 75 was, and so and I'm really going to get into it. And I've spoken to him about it, especially, and a couple other people that have those fitness aspirations, and
Yeah.
they're like me. It's going to be tough, and it's going to be a battle, but I know I can do it. I did Project 50, and obviously I'm not going to lie to you, and I've messed up a couple times, but I feel like if I can do Hard 75 and at least do 70 good days or do a high 60 good days, but I feel like I can do all 75 good days, and and obviously circumstances come up, but what Hard 75 is, and which a lot of people probably don't believe I can do, it's no drinking for 75 days. And for someone like me who's I'm not, I can be, I'm a big,
Party.
I do like to party, and I'll have a couple of drinks, and I'll have, there's some days I'll be a big drinker, but I just don't, I almost don't enjoy the idea of alcohol as much as I used to. And there's nothing against it, and I just come from someone I've spent a lot of money on alcohol since I turned 18. Since before I turned 18 as well.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm still going to continue to go partying and stuff. But it's just the thing about alcohol. It just doesn't. You know. I wouldn't say it doesn't make me happy, but it's just
Doesn't appeal to you.
it doesn't appeal to me as much as it used to. And like I'll go out and like I was out with my mate Xander last night and did great in the casino and won 350 up. Lovely and
Roulette.
a bit of roulette, bit of blackjack, you know me. And we had a couple beers and I drove and I was just like he had a couple drinks more than I did, which is fair enough. I drove and I said I was happy to, but I just didn't. I enjoy the taste of alcohol, but depending on what I drink, but I don't want to go up and go on to get another drink and get another drink.
Yeah.
A couple, I mean, if that, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of people would think I would struggle, but to be honest, I think I would do hard 75 easy.
No, I mean,
Alcohol-wise, obviously the other stuff will be a big, a battle. But like, I'm talking alcohol-wise, I fucking do it. There will be circumstances when I'll be that sober guy in the corner, and usually instead, if I'm not an awkward dude, as most of you guys know, but if I'm like in a situation where I'm at a party or something, and I don't feel like talking to someone, or I'm just doing my thing, I'll go get a drink.
Yeah.
And now I've just got to my confidence is through the roof as it is, but in those situations I've just got to not shy away, I guess, you know what I mean? But anyways, another couple goals is, I just want to have a big year, physically wise and basketball wise, I know I'm, a top guy in my team, and I've just got to prove to everybody else. And obviously I want to try and get on this exchange and just live a good life with friends and stuff. And, something I've talked about a lot is just trying to grow this podcast, and especially my friends. They know that this is a big goal I want to have in my business. I want this to be a business. I want to make money off this shit. That's why I'm investing a lot of money in myself for this. And, I'm like about to create a website and do all these different things that are going to make this a big company, and hopefully at one point. And that's why I've called it Raise Entertainment, because I want it to be an entertainment platform at some point, But
yeah,
they're my main stuff. But what about you? Anything add on?
No, I already said my ones, yeah.
But what we can go into now is so we've talked about motivation, we talked about failures and stuff, but I'm going to give you some touchstone words, and you're going to come up with a couple things that come off your head off them, okay? So the first one is inspire.
Inspire.
So how do you want to, especially, let's start with, like, we'll just go into this year. How do you want to inspire?
Myself or other people?
Yeah, give me all the words, all the works, all the
I
words.
inspire myself.
For sure. Tell me.
I think it's based on, like, also, like, when you're not working, because when you're working, like, you kind of inspire yourself when you're literally working, because, like, that's what you focus on. Like,
Absolutely.
I think when you're home or when you're just relaxing, like, watching, if you're going to watch content that's going to inspire you.
For sure.
If you watch, maybe, who's an inspiration to you, for example?
My big two.
LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, maybe?
No. My there's my big two. You named one of them. Who's my
So,
other
like, say LeBron. If you watch, like, LeBron
KSI.
doing a podcast, maybe.
LeBron
or
and
KSI,
KSI.
right? So
They're my two.
So my perspective is, like, if you're watching a KSI or LeBron, sorry, I said Logan.
I know, almost. Jesus.
KSI or LeBron podcast, but for example, that's going to inspire you more than watching the Nelk Boys just talk shit
Of course.
for an hour straight,
For
right?
sure, 100%.
So I think when you're in your free time, watch things and do things, read things, look at things that are going to inspire you instead of the same stuff, but in childish or pathetic, or I don't know, just like things that instead of watching, like, pranks, right?
For sure.
Or
And
like watching a podcast, for example, that's just boring. They just talk shit for an hour straight. There's nothing that inspires you about it. I think that's a huge way to inspire anyone, inspire myself, and that's obviously should inspire other people, but that's something I do that will inspire me. I'll watch an inspirational video every night before I go to bed, because then I'm like, oh, it'll excite me to get up the next morning and go to work. It inspires me at the end of the day.
For sure. 100%.
So that's a huge way that I get inspired.
I agree, 100%. Someone really want to
I'm sure other people will relate to that.
Someone I really want to watch, and as I said, I'm a massive KSI fan, and I've been watching the guys for 12 years. It feels like at this point, not even feels like I have. And he just released this new documentary that I haven't had the chance to watch yet. KSI in real life.
I saw a couple clips on TikTok, and it was his dad. I thought it was Deji, but it was his dad. They looked the same. walk into the house and like they just don't look like they have a relationship.
They don't, and
It's like because KSI is like, in all fairness, he's a motivation too, but he's also left a lot of people behind when he's made all this money, and like he doesn't. It doesn't.
Yes
look
and
in the way
no.
that
I feel like
it looks like it's caused a lot of problems with his relationship with his brother and his parents. It looks like. So.
I feel like I haven't, as I said, I haven't watched this documentary, and I'm gonna definitely watch it. Hopefully at some point today. We're filming this on the 28th, so I would have watched this by the time this comes out. And one thing that as I said, one thing that inspires JJ inspires to me is that he has all these different things and all these different things he does, and he's great at it, and that's something I want. That's why I'm studying a degree I'm studying a degree in advertising and communications, because I would love to work in the media. I would love to continue podcasting. I would love to create content for the rest of my life. But with that, it seems there's sacrifices, and I'm not saying like he's definitely rebonded his relationship with his mother and father and his brother. I haven't obviously watched this documentary, so I'm gonna have to see this. But
his way of motivating Dej is by putting him down.
It is
like he's like, you're fat, like you're shit, you're useless.
It is, and
it's not the right way to motivate someone. It's going to make someone upset. Maybe it'll make them angry, but like as your brother, that's just not the way to motivate, because that's going to ruin your relationship.
You're right.
Yes, you'll motivate your brother, but at the end of the day, your relationship with your brother is more important.
You're right, and I agree to you.
Like when they did all the
For
boxing
sure.
stuff, like I'll have a look at Twitter occasionally, and I'd see like the way KSI would bash his brother and stuff, or like make YouTube videos. It's like it's not funny. You're making money out of taking the piss out of your brother. Like that's yes, you're a comedian, if that's what you want to call yourself. You're an entertainer, more like.
Yeah.
But like, is money more important than your family's relationship?
What I can say is about that is that in some circumstances, I'm going to give you 100% you're right. But for someone like Deji, who just doesn't have motivation, he doesn't have anything, and he just needs someone to kick his head in almost. I know it's horrible to say.
Deji just won his first fight.
He did, but
and KSI did look JJ looked very proud.
He was very proud, but it wasn't. Again, this is something that a big topic that I've spoken about. It's behind the scenes. It's what you don't see.
But it's also
2023.
Everyone is. I mean, since the last couple of years, the world's become very sensitive and soft.
It is.
You could say tiny thing to your mate, and they'll cry.
Exactly.
They're not going to be your mate anymore, because people can't handle.
It's just people.
People can't handle criticism.
You're right, and a big thing that especially with this, with my life, and especially this podcast, is that I've had, I've been fortunate enough that I don't have yes men around me, and there's a lot of people that do, and it sucks. And what I mean by yes men is that you're doing something, and your friends are like, yes, that's right, you're the best. I've had a lot of.
You want people that are going to push you. Like
and
if I see you doing something, I'll be like, "What are you doing, mate?" Like,
and some of my best friends, and exactly who I'm talking to, because we've all had I've said this to you guys recently, and the last couple of times we've hanged out, is that I'm very fortunate for our friendships and our relationships, because of my friends will talk shit about me and say I'm shit, say something that looks bad, because it's if I'm messing up, but also they're there to inspire me. Like when I make big reaches in my life, they're the ones
you want to have around.
They're the ones that you want around, and they say when they'll be the first ones to call me up and say congratulate me on things, but also they'll be the first ones, if I've done something shit, they'll say it to my face and make fun of me. And one thing that Will especially did, and my mum, about this podcast is, they said the format was shit, and I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to listen to them, because I just kept seeing tunnel vision, and I know I finally understood what I did. And we've had a lot of episodes that have been quite successful, but I looked back and I didn't enjoy them. I'll be honest. Like as I said, my most enjoyable one is probably the one with Alex Kapos, and me and him, like we get on well, and we're somewhat friends. But I've had ones with my best friends, and they're great, and you look back at them, they're a laugh, but it's just not. I feel like it's just not me. It's just not what I want to share this world. And I'm not the most serious person, but I want to be able to sit down with a friend and sit down with people that I look up to, and they look up to me, and have a chat for an hour or a half an hour or 2 hours, however long, and do some inspiration. Not even just inspiration, but I want to look back and enjoy what I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is what episode 35 with Will starts off with. And there's gonna be, you're gonna look back and compare podcasts, and you're gonna be like, Sam, what the fuck are you doing? But I couldn't care less about some story when you went to a nightclub.
No.
Obviously, but
Well,
if
it's not interesting. It's not
it
motivating.
isn't. And if you
What
talk,
is someone watching this going to get out of that?
Absolutely.
A laugh, and that's it.
absolutely, and obviously we'll still talk about stories. And I'm telling you, within the next 20 to 30 minutes, however long we keep filming for, we will get into some stories and have a laugh. But at least for 75 to 80% of each episode, we're gonna be talking about stuff that needs to be talked about. You know, if there's
Sure.
real world shit, it's gonna be spoken about. You know, and you know, and if people don't like that, and if I lose viewers, so be it. But I'm now happy with what I'm putting. I'm happy with how this is going. I'm happy with what I've planned, and you know, and there's still gonna, as I said, this will be the boxing episode every once in a while, and there'll still be laughs. But you know, and as what we say, and what I hope you've all, you know, seem to realize, that just these deep conversations, these meaningful moments matter more than about what you did 3 nights ago.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, moving on. So let's talk about let's go into you know, relationships, and about, I'm not talking relationships as girlfriend, boyfriend. I'm talking about people in your life and good relationships, and how they have what they might do to like kick you in the back and tell you what to do, and you know, go into it, and you know, tell us about something, give us a circumstance where something, you know, you feel like you're in the right, and you know, say someone's told you to fucking kick your head in, for example.
Oh, I won't really.
You don't have to go
give any
detail. I'm not
stories,
talking to
but-
go detail, but just give us something you can think.
I mean,
That-
if you're talking about like friendships,
Like how has someone, and what has someone said to you, and that's really, you know, meant a lot to you, and you've been like, you know what, they're all right.
I mean, my friends, I've never really like, not from what I can remember, have ever really said something to me where like I've had to think about, where I'm like, oh,
It doesn't have to be friendship wise,
Maybe
it can
I'm
be
wrong,
family
but-
wise as well.
maybe like the way I carry myself, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or like just to put like maybe, I don't know, just like being a bit out of check, and I've been pulled back into check,
For
back
sure.
in my place.
For sure.
I guess is really the only thing really ever like me just like acting out a little bit. I've been told to like, you know, just realize like who you are, and like, you know. So
No, that's fine.
yeah,
That's
nothing
fine.
really in particular.
For sure. And you know, there's gonna be obviously there's gonna be moments when, you know, you won't see and understand what you're doing wrong, you know, and this will happen in the future, and this has probably happened in the past to everyone, but you've just gotta listen, and you gotta keep your circle tight. You know, I have a lot of friends, but they're good friends.
Well, I mean, I look at friendships like I have a very small circle of friends.
Yeah.
And I like that because I've obviously been in a part of my life where I've had a big amount of friends.
Of course.
And now
Of
I've
course. I
got
can
a small
think
amount of
about it
friends,
now.
and I'd much rather have a small amount of friends, people that are there for you,
For sure.
loyal friends. You have more time to see them when you have the chance.
Mm-hmm.
I like having a small circle just of people that are positive,
Hey, I respect it.
motivated, have integrity and loyalty around me.
For sure, and talking about loyalty, that was going to be our second touchstone word we're going to talk about. Loyalty. Give me some, just talk about loyalty and how you feel about that.
Well, I mean, I think nowadays a lot of people don't know what loyalty is,
For sure.
and they don't have any loyalty to anyone except themselves, because at the end of the day, they're out there to make something of themselves and to look like they're the best person, and they'll fuck over, as the easiest way to say it, they'll fuck over whoever they can to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a very common thing, which it's obviously a shame to see, but I've always been brought up be loyal to my
Mhm.
friends, just to anyone, just anyone, friends, whoever you're surrounded with.
For sure.
So loyalty obviously is a huge thing to me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the world's changed a lot. I mean, it's always been like this. People will fuck over whoever they can to come out on top. Like, I'd want the
For
people
sure.
around me to come with me, so we
Absolutely. I agree.
so we can all, enjoy the moment
Mm-hmm.
together instead of having to fuck people over just to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, loyalty obviously means it's probably the most meaningful thing to me.
I'm good. Good.
Because loyalty brings a lot of other things with it.
For sure.
Like, having loyalty can bring a lot. So
And the last final little touchstone thing
yeah.
I thought was manifestation. So manifesting. So how do you manifest? Like, especially, as this has been a big motivational, the
Yeah.
topic for today has been motivational and how to overcome failure. how do you manifest things, and how do
I
you?
mean, everyone has their different ways of manifesting. Some people might have a whiteboard and write little messages
For
to
sure.
manifest something. Like, oh, in 5 years' time, I'll make this amount of money, or like, I'll get a 90% in my university mark, or buy this car, or
So and so, yeah.
I'll buy my favorite pair of shoes, or I'll get my dream watch, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So people might do that. Maybe like like I used to, maybe even like my background, something I really like. So you can manifest every day. You wake up, you look at your background, maybe like a nice view of a beach, or like maybe somewhere in Europe, or wherever you want to travel, maybe, or like
For
your
sure.
dream car, for example, whatever it is. That's another way of manifesting things. At the end of the day, like you can't really manifest things, in my opinion, because there's going to be so many different factors into like health,
Sure.
financial,
Good point.
like how much effort you're going to put into it, really.
For sure.
So I think it's very hard to manifest something, but I think you also do have a certain amount of control over that. Like if you work hard in school, in your job, you maybe to go on your dream holiday, or go to your dream university, get the mark you really want. So I think hard work is really the only way to manifest. Like manifest stuff, but you have to work very hard
Mm-hmm.
for those manifestations to become true.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. For sure. Yeah, especially with that, you've got to if you have a goal and you can reach it, and this is just me saying, I'm not some motivational speaker or anything, but this is someone who's had a lot of goals and,
I think if you do set a goal, though, sorry for interrupting you,
You're
but I
right.
think if you do set a goal, you have to make it a goal that's actually achievable, not
100%.
like, I'm going to live in a $50 million house.
Absolutely.
Like, have an achievable goal, and then when you achieve that goal, set a higher goal. After you
Absolutely.
set that goal, you keep setting a higher goal every time you achieve it. But
Absolutely.
I think there's steps to it. Like manifest something very small. So maybe like you manifest, I don't know, maybe your next university marks, or like maybe this podcast you get 200 views. That's like you start with a very small goal, and then you keep
Mm-hmm.
going up until the sky is the limit. There is no limit realistically.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no limits. Like why can't you just keep setting new goals every time you achieve that little
Absolutely.
goal?
Absolutely. So when I think manifestation, especially for me, I'll tell a couple of stories. So, I look at these times when I've had, as I said, this is why I've chose these two topics as the main idea of the podcast, because it all comes back together. When I've had these goals and I've had these failures and I've been motivated to continue and live on and keep it up, I'm just going to quickly talk about, let me see, here we go. With this podcast, this was something that I wanted to just get off and get started, and and it was a process, because I've definitely told this story, I feel like, on the potty, that this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and it originally wasn't going to come up first. Originally I wanted to continue working on vlogs, and my little bro did help me with some of those, but it just didn't work out. It wasn't for me, and it wasn't for us. I don't know, and then Will was almost gonna help host the podcast, and then I had a mate who was gonna host it, and and that's okay, because what happened, and then we finally got it running, and he saw the first couple of episodes, and I kept manifesting that this would be better and better and better, and as I said, I wasn't happy with some of these first 34 episodes, and now I go into 35, and I'm manifesting my next thing is to enjoy them, and to really enjoy them, and so far I've loved this. I really have this. I love this concept, and my next goal with it is, let's make some money off it. Why the hell not? And the only way I manifest is with the work. You can manifest something, but how much are you going to work on it? You've got to put in your effort in. You can't...
You have to start it sooner rather than later as well. Like
Absolutely.
you can't be like, I'll just do it tomorrow, I'll do it the day after tomorrow, I'll do it next year.
Absolutely. And
if you want to actually, if you really want something that bad, start it now.
Absolutely. And this was something that, this is, and you're probably like, Sam, why did you take the month off? And obviously we went away, and but we were planning, and Will can tell you, I did a lot of planning and a lot of thinking over this last month of what I want this to be.
Well, I guess a good part of you doing 34 episodes, however many you said,
34,
prior
yeah.
to this one, is you've had that chance to have the fun, just get used to it, learn a bit more, get better at it, and now it's like time to really find out what you want the podcast to be about,
Absolutely.
like how you want it to be, how you want the podcast to be. So it's really time where you can now level up and decide like what the best way to market it would be.
For sure. And back with the manifestation, I'm manifesting, and I know I can do it, and people say to me and that I do a lot, and I overwork myself. I really do, and I do a lot going on, and I feel like I'm either out working, doing something, or I'm going and hang out with friends. Like, I don't have a chance, but You know, especially with something like this, this is in my brain, built in, that this isn't going to fail. You know, and I've had failures, and you know, if it does fail, it is what it is. But I'm not letting that happen. You've got to. One thing I definitely want people to know, and I hope you will learn this yourself, especially over talking for the last 45 minutes to an hour, however long this is running for, that failure might happen, but don't, because you can. Failure is just an obstacle. You know what I mean? If you really want something, don't let you fail. Don't let it happen, because if you've got to work harder than the guy on the next to you, the guy
you need to work harder than everyone, because at the end of the day, there's millions of people doing the same thing that you're doing.
Absolutely.
So how can you be better than them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that just comes to life at the end of the day. And I really want people to know that failure will happen and obstacles happen, but don't let it happen.
So
don't let it happen.
It's not that you can't let it happen. It's how you can overcome the failure.
Absolutely.
So
but
it's inevitable. Like, everyone will fail at a certain
absolutely,
point.
But don't.
It's how you overcome it.
But don't fail half-assed.
It's how you fall back on it.
Absolutely, but don't fail half-assed. Don't go and fail on something where you've put in 10% in.
You gotta get back up at the end of the day.
Put 110% in. Put 300% in. Put your whole heart into it, that you mean to it. Put your effort into it. Feel something. Because if you don't feel it, if you're not doing something you don't love, it's not a thing. And, you know, this is personal to me, because I've done shit. And I've made content, and I've done stuff that's, you know, affected. And I've heard people say shit to me. And, you know, and there was this video that I wanted to make before this podcast was everything, about people hating on what I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, you can't listen to these fucking haters, because they're going to keep fucking going at you. And there's people that don't like you for whatever reason. But you've got to realize that they're just motherfuckers who are going to continue to speak and speak and speak and speak and speak. But don't listen to the white noise, because it's just noise at the end of the day. Because you're better than that. You know what I mean? It's just, I know I'm rambling on, but I just really... This is just realization that I've had over the last 3 to 4 years, you know, and you've probably had the same, but it's just life at the end of the day. It really is. And it really means a lot that, you know, people understand my message and understand your message, and you know, learn something. But
definitely.
That is probably about it for this motivational stuff. So we're gonna we'll probably quickly talk about a couple, you know, funny stuff, and go into a couple of cool stories that's happened to us over the last, you know, 3 to 4 recently, and yeah. So, back off the motivational stuff. Let's bring up that, you know, that voice, because obviously my voice is now changed now.
Yeah.
But my brother, tell me real quick. So let's tell me a couple of stories. Tell me something.
Sorry, what?
I don't know. You tell the world something. I don't know.
I mean, I don't really have anything interesting to tell anyone.
Okay, what should I tell? What should I tell everybody?
I just got work, and I mean,
Hey.
I'm going away this weekend for a week.
So you want to talk about, how about this? How about talk about how was your New Year's real quick? Talk about your New Year's and at the cruise.
First New Year's I've ever been on a boat for New Year's, so it was a completely different experience of what I've ever seen. So I thought that was quite spectacular. The balloons dropping in the main foyer. Everyone that's actually on the boat, like the 5,000 or 4,500 people that are on it, are really just jammed up, and being able to witness a New Year's in the middle of the ocean is quite spectacular. I think everyone should experience that in their life, being on a cruise on New Year's. I think it was great.
Mhm. And what about? Oh, I realised one thing. We're keeping with the old concept. I've realised as well. What we're gonna do, but we're gonna change it up a little bit. So, for me, obviously I've had a big, really good end of the last year. You know, making this team. Obviously going away, we had this great time on the cruise, and we met our cousin of ours for the first time, which was quite funny. So shout out to Jake. So we met Jake. I'm sure we would have met over the years at some chance, or maybe we haven't. I don't even know. He's like a third or fourth cousin, something like that. And now that's like a brother to us. And
we love Jake.
We love Jake and Glenn as well. You're our boy. So that was pretty fun to meet that, and the 4 of us, which is we had a couple, not a couple, we had many really good times, a lot of good times on that boat, and we still talk about it to the day, to be honest. And we have a little group text chat, and the four of us are always chatting, which is it's nice. It's always nice meeting new people, especially in that it's great when having to be related one.
Yeah.
But then, as I said at the start of my year, there was a couple of failures with relationships and friends, not friends, this exchange shit. But that's good. And what about Fiji? You excited for Fiji?
Yeah, of course. I think it'll be great just to get out of Sydney, have some time with my girlfriend Sophie.
Year date? How's that? Fucking look at you've been for a year with that girl.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
over a year now.
I still can't believe it because we always used to joke around and just being boys. Obviously, there's stuff you shouldn't say, but I'm not going into that. But we would have a laugh, and we both didn't expect.
Yeah, I never expected.
They have a girl.
To really have a girlfriend.
They never wanted to have one, and then there you go. He's been with Sophie, so clearly
we've been together for a year.
Yep, so clearly Sophie, he means a lot to you. She means a lot to you.
Well, we travelled Europe together.
You did. You've had a good year
We've
with
gone
her.
on a couple holidays together. This is our
Third one.
third. Well, we've done Europe for 5 weeks.
And then you did
And then we did Queensland for a few nights.
Queensland. Yep. And now Fiji.
Yeah, we've gone down the coast.
Yeah, that's
Also up the coast. Now Fiji for a week, 5 nights.
Classy. I hope
should be nice.
Hope to get some lovely videos and photos.
I'm sure you'll see some posts on my Instagram and
I hope so.
story.
I hope so.
But that should be a really nice getaway, just some one-on-one time.
For sure.
I think everyone that's in a relationship needs to put aside time to maybe go 45 minutes away to a little Airbnb for the weekend or hotel.
You do.
Or even go across the world together. But I think the most healthy thing for a relationship is just having time where it's just one-on-one.
Okay.
So that's the most healthy thing for it.
So how we're going to end this? So obviously we've done as you guys most know, we did the 10 and, we're going to probably start shying away from that, to be honest. But one thing I did like was the guest to guest. So we're going to continue that. But then also another thing, this just came off the top of the dome real quick. This is going to be a question to a question. So what we're going to do, we're going to ask you, you're going to come up with a question and you're going to ask me a question, anything you want, and then I'll come and ask you a question.
All right.
This is, and then after that, you're going to also, so we're going to answer those, and after that, you're going to come up with a question for the next guest. So the next guest will be the boxing
I have
episode.
a good question for you.
So ask me one of them.
So I want, but you have to answer it very briefly, not very long.
Okay.
The shortest way, simple possible.
Okay.
Do you believe in the Matrix?
Okay.
It's not a long answer, 'cause I know this could be a 30-minute discussion.
It won't be. It won't be.
You can make it out.
Okay, so I'll give you a quick. It'll be long. It won't be as quick as you think, but it'll be super quick. So okay, firstly, Will and I both.
And this isn't relating to anyone that's said anything about the Matrix.
This
is just, do you believe it? Not what anyone else
Okay.
said.
From hearing, so I'm hearing thoughts and hearing people's opinions about the Matrix. There is in some circumstances I do 100% believe.
I'll give you my opinion.
Let me talk mine and then you go. 100% I do believe it because there are circumstances you're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then also there is it's not the world. The world revolves. It doesn't revolve around a matrix. It's obviously there's parts. It's how you treat yourself. But then you're looking at these high celebrities and these people that have money and have names, and you're looking at them and you're like, okay, well, how does this person is doing this, and they've done nothing here. And if you obviously I'm talking about certain people, and you can all have a guess who I'm talking about if you know the news or just look into social media. There are certain things you're like. There is a matrix, but for someone like me or you, more or less, it really isn't, if you know what I mean.
I mean...
There's parts 100%.
I'll tell you where I think it is.
Tell me.
Us,
that was my main
for
thought.
the everyday average person.
Please.
So, you go to school, right? You're taught to work a 9-to-5 job, pretty much. As an end result, you're taught, you go into this job, this job.
You are.
You have to ask to the bathroom, things like this. You have to ask people for their permission. Which, I think that's where, that's one reason, we are in it.
I would say,
and I think also
real quick,
the government wants people...
I would say you're more influenced to be in the matrix. I wouldn't say you're in a matrix. You're more influenced. You're influenced to be in the matrix because
you're taught.
At the end of the day, that was a great point when you said the high school.
You're taught to do these simple things.
You are.
And then that's what, and then that's because that's what you know. Realistically, that's what you know. You go into a job.
You meant to go to school.
Like, oh, I
You
went
meant to
to
go
3 months a day, and I work my
university. You meant to
computer
go to
industry, and I
job.
work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday,
Absolutely.
on a salary that you're stuck on for the rest of your life. So I think that's where it begins. Then obviously it transforms into going into a real life job. But I also think like,
So, what about you being someone that...
that's the easiest way to say it.
This isn't my question, but I've just saw this now. Being that you really aren't a part of that matrix, the 9 to 5 job, the during university, the wanting to do one in high school.
Well, I guess I've always had like a different mind, and I think differently to how you think, right?
But I'm the same.
So I didn't want to go to uni throughout school. I never liked school. I didn't like the way I was taught stuff at school. And then I've obviously did start at 9 to 5, and then I've recently gone off onto work for the same company I work at, but to work my own hours. I get what I make is what I get. I don't get a salary, so like I decide when I want to work, where I want to work.
So going back to your question, for me, there is parts that definitely, yes, I've gone to the matrix. I've done the high school. I've been told to go to university. I've done that. But as I said, this comes across again. This is why this is all amazing that we talked about these two topics. Was the failure that I fucked up. I did shit in high school. I did shit in my year 12, as some of you might know, and I went into a degree that I wasn't even sure about that I wanted to do, and then I ended up liking it, and now I'm not a person that just wakes up, uni, work.
Yeah.
I do all different types of stuff. So yeah, there's different qualities in my life when, yes, there's matrix aspects, you could say, but definitely not. My question for you was...
Yeah, what's your question?
When you look at, celebrities and people in your life, people that you look up in your life, what do you grasp from them? What do you take from these bigger people, these names? You can go into people that you want to name as well. Name one person, but why? Tell me something.
Say the question again, sorry.
So what do you, from a celebrities and people you look up to in your life, what do you what's something you grasp, and what do you take from what they've said, or what do you take from them, and then name me a person where you've taken something from what they've said or done.
I mean, I won't name anyone in particular. There's been a handful amount of people that have influenced I look up to, I guess. But I mean, there's so many different ways, I guess, seeing these people, like the lives they have, like being like, oh, like anyone can do this. Realistically, anyone can do that if you work hard enough. So,
For sure.
I mean, anyone can do that. We're talking like not like actors, so we're not talking like that. Like, I'm not talking like an actor or like
It can be whatever. It's people you look up to.
Talking more like business people, so like businessmen, businesswomen. Like these type of people. Like if they can do it, they can make a lot of money doing that. Why can't I make a lot of money doing what I'm doing? If I work hard enough, I can get there. That's definitely a huge influence, I guess.
For sure.
That'd probably be like the main reason, like of my influence, I guess, just like seeing the life they live and how I could, in 20 years time or 10 years time or 5 years time or 2 years time, however long it takes, have the end result of living a life like how they do.
Okay.
To an extent.
Well, good. And then the final way we can end this is the only returning segment of the potty.
Next question
is the guest to guest. So you're gonna come up with a question for our next guest, and then it can be whatever you want. It can be something stupid. Can be something we've talked about today. It can be anything you want. And then we're gonna both answer that question, and then the next person will answer it. So go for it.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time as a short-term goal?
Okay. So real quick.
I've sort of pretty much spoke about
it.
It's
just more or less
so I'd say I'll probably just leave it for the next person.
Yeah.
Because this whole podcast we've spoken about stuff. And
we have.
Ourselves,
yeah.
So.
Good point.
I think because we spoke a lot about that. So I'd say, where do you see yourself? This is my question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And how are you going to achieve that?
Okay. And this is something
So when you ask me that, obviously, how are you going to motivate yourself to do that? How are you going to... How will you motivate yourself to do that? Yeah.
Okay, for sure. And one thing another thing I've had a thought. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do an Instagram post, and I'm doing one of those question things, and I'm going to put up each week when the podcast comes out, I'm going to put up that question and let everybody answer it. All the followers, all the viewers. I think it could be a good idea. So, you know me, this is Sam Frazer. I am your host of the Reupload podcast produced by Race Entertainment. This is my brother,
Thank you for having me on.
Will Frazer.
Appreciate it.
And this is we're going to call this the new concept. So this is the new concept of the Reupload podcast, and I hope you've all learned something and enjoyed it. If you listen to the audio of this, please follow my Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on wherever you get your podcasts now, pretty much. Even I have a website now, so if you want to have a look at that, you can play through that. It's linked as well on my in my Instagram. So follow all the socials, and if you're on YouTube, please, when you get those subscribers up, we need them up. We want to get to 100 because I feel like I've been trying to say it for
If
a
you
while.
like Sam's podcast, share it on your stories.
Please.
Try to help him grow as a YouTuber, and then
Please.
you guys may be on the podcast one day. You never know.
Hey, for sure. But that's really about it. This is episode 5 of the new concept, featuring Will Frazer, and we are out.